I came to work on a Monday, never in my wildest dreams thinking that one of the big upper echelon person would come and tell us that you're fired and we're moving to Canada.
Jeff Niebauer has built Waukesha engines at the same Wisconsin plant for 24 years. In 2014, President Obama praised this GE factory as a symbol of American manufacturing.
What you're doing at this plant and across this region can be a model for the country.
A model that didn't last. Nearly 2 years later, Niebauer and more than 300 other workers were told their jobs were moving to Canada.
They cut out one piece of your heart at a time. They move jobs out, they move equipment out, they clear space and turn it into stock rooms.
This factory drove the community's economy for more than 100 years. It sits just outside of Paul Ryan's congressional district, but some workers here say he failed them.
He hasn't done anything. Every time I listen to him, I'm thinking to myself, doesn't he realize that we voted for him? He should have been there and saw my wife crying. He should have been there.
GE blames the move to Canada on the Export-Import Bank. It's essentially a government credit agency used to finance U.S. exports. GE says it relies on that financing to help sell its products abroad. Speaker Ryan has slammed the Export-Import Bank as corporate welfare, and Congress let its charter expire in June 2015. Canada saw an opportunity, offering GE financing if it would build a factory there. GE took the deal, and by the time Congress reauthorized the bank 5 months later, it was too late. A spokesperson for Paul Ryan says the speaker finds GE's decision deeply disappointing and says the company's Export-Import Bank reasoning doesn't match up. But GE says if the bank had been reauthorized in those 5 months, these workers would still have their jobs. But GE's employees don't buy it.
I mean, a company the size of GE shouldn't need that kind of financial help.
Right. I don't know if you want to call it corporate greed, but it seems like everybody's always trying to, how can we make it cheaper and faster and put more money in the CEO's pocket, whereas, we're the ones who create the product.
I feel sorry for any of the people who take a job up in that plant, because I see how things are going here and how they've gone since GE bought it, and I don't think they'll have a job for that long.
President Trump's promise to bring manufacturing jobs back to the U.S. helped him win Wisconsin.
This was actually the first time I ever voted. He was saying the things that the average person who's lost their jobs, who wants to see more decent paying jobs that somebody could support a family on.
Now General Electric CEO Jeff Immelt is on the President's Manufacturing Council. Before, he chaired President Obama's Economic Advisory Board. Little comfort to these workers watching their factory jobs disappear.
I thought this was going to be the place, where I could retire out of, because it was kind of like the Super Bowl of engine building for me.
The family ties in the company, generation after generation after generation. My father-in-law put in 43 and a half years here. That's how I got into the company. And that's gone away.
Wisconsin's unemployment rate is below the national average, and manufacturers in Waukesha are hiring. But these workers say those jobs don't pay nearly as much as the union jobs at GE.
To find a job that kind of money we make now is going to be pretty impossible.
Next to impossible. Yeah. Ever since they announced that they were closing the plant, I mean, I've been doing everything I can to be as debt-free as I can possibly be when that day comes, because I know I won't find a job making the money I do now.
But if you got a family.
But you can't support a family on $17 an hour.
Even as they search for new jobs, their anger is raw.
I don't own anything GE anymore. I don't even have a GE light bulb in my house anymore.